item, bring it up here and try to hit the blue dot on the table, and that'll get a good video or a good shot of it on the.
I'll go first.
All right.
All right, I brought this to tell everybody what not to do. Okay. All right, if you've probably seen it on YouTube, dizzy balls or tornado balls. And if you want me to do a whole program on how to do these, I can do that. But we glue layers. I won't tell you how you get to all those layers, but you have to make sure they line up perfectly. You can see on the outside, those, you offset them ever so slightly as you glue the layers on. Okay. And you use typically a comb to make sure you're getting perfectly centered. Now, each of those rings has to be cut just right, which is part of what I learned on this one. And you have to make sure you line up both sides. And you can see on this side, I didn't. So there's one layer that came out that wasn't offset. And of course, by the time I noticed it, the 20 seconds had elapsed and the glue was set. So you really, really have to be careful on cutting your rings very accurately and lining up both sides perfectly. So that's what you shouldn't do. The last thing you shouldn't do, and this isn't because I did it wrong, but I listed all the woods on the bottom and it took me about 4 hours to engrave the bottom. So that's just, don't do it because it's too much work. Thank you.
That's got it.
Keeping with the small things and small boxes, but these are not baseball cutoffs. This one, I get a lot of requests for around. February 14th, Valentine's Day. Guys doing, the presentation of a ring. And, I have a thing about lighthouses. These are all boxes and everything like that. And baseball bats, I have to make something other than a friggin' box out of it.
A couple of months ago, I bought online a box of bowl blanks, of all different kinds of wood, and just basically did it for practice. And one night in the shop, I'd been turning, and we were cleaning up, and another turner who was there had been turning, I don't know what, the walnut, but his cutoffs he threw in the trash can. And I looked at them and I said, I think I can make something out of those. And so next, because I had some light wood in these blanks to turn, I scavenged up these throwaways that he had left there and made lids for these little boxes or little bowls. That's basically what that's for. Is you can. That's another place to find free wood. Somebody threw it away. One made it trash.
For those of you who attended Saturday's show and sawing occasion at the Don place, saw this square piece laying on the pallet there, and I said, that's gotta be it. And so I took it home and proceeded to turn it, and I used a one-way flooring tool to core, you know, I got a number 4 cutter, which I think will go to 17 or 18 inches. Well, when you core, you gotta bring it to the edge as far out, but you can't do square corners with a round core. So that was the lesson there, and I was able to find a good color for the octave field to take care of the little boys that were in the dots on the edge, and so it matches quite well with the natural color of the box elder bulb, which is pink. And then after turning it, and I put on 1 coat of tabletop epoxy, and then I use the setup that rotates like it 10 times a minute, and then use there's a little heater gadget out that has a thermostat, an on-off switch, and a fan, and it's like $60 or so, and it plugs in the wall in your bathroom. You want to auxiliary heat. Well, it's perfect for auxiliary heater, because this epoxy resin needs to be at 75 degrees. And if it's not at 75 degrees, it will take forever to set up. And so that's how you get it done in 6 hours and easy that and go with it. And then I sanded that coating one time with 180 grit paper to take down, because there's a few bubbles and whatnot. And I didn't take a huge amount of care to get all the dust out of everywhere. But if you want to be a perfectionist, you could sand this again with probably 180, maybe 240, and give it another coat in the pocket. And that's one of the things I work with the pocket. You can sand it away and start all over, stir down the wood. But I really enjoy doing it. But it's it was a fun project.
So the theme of this is kind of the same as Sarah's, it's found wood. This is a piece of roof, let's say George Street, that someone kept for 10 to 15 years somewhere, and I can't remember from. Mike on, what? Mike on. Push the button up. No, the other one. There. Here's the place that word. All right. So this is a piece of, we'll say orange root that someone had kept in their garage for 15 years, and I found it in the back of my truck. And so I made it, it works very well. It takes the thread nicely, it's a little soft and a little crunchy. This is a piece of a pallet that came with a piece of machinery on it. The nail holes are for the bracket that was held onto. I've turned this wood before, but I can't remember what it's called. It's from South America, and it takes thread real nicely. This is David Alexander's house. I got enough wood for a few urns, and so I turned an urn out of this, and the urn's piece of wood was too long, and so this was left in the chuck, and I took it out and threw it on the floor, and 6 months later I found it again, and so it makes it hollow for me. This I was turning a lid for an urn out of Cocobolo. And so I turned the lid and cut it off. And when I was done with the turning the lid, I found that this was still in the chuck. And so I cut a thread on the inside of it, on the inside, and then I turned one side of it. This is something I used to make a lot of a long time ago. They're called, I call them Saturn boxes. And the last few years, I found a bunch of these and turn the same turtle thing and then put them away. I figured I could always set them back on and do what I wanted. And this one, I was just there and it was there, and so I did. So,
Oh, no.
Don't beat me, don't beat me.
The challenge.
Not again,
Or
mother.
this is a show and tell. These, you are looking at essentially the finish off the CNC baton for the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. 25 inches long, 1.5 inches, 1.3 diameter with 4 proud beads. And take a look at these, really. I mean, the finish is great. Perfectly centered, so it's gonna go back on the lathe and just, quick sand and, then these hard wax oil finish that I'm making, put on them, and this is great. Thank you, Gary.
Welcome to the whole program together in order to complete the baton as Mike was dictating what everything needed to do, so.
He's the brains behind the whole thing, really, make this happen.
And the benefits,
Well, I'll spit a whole bunch of these out for next month then.
These are
A
perfect.
whole bunch.
Thank you.
the benefit to the club is going to be in the form of a donation from the KC Police Department. That will literally help us finish out the year strong, right?
The next 3 years, this year and the next 2, because we're looking at, the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department is part of the unified government, and according to their accounting principles, and everything, they can give a $4,999 grant to anyone, without having to put it through a competitive bidding process and all that kind of thing. So we're looking at like 330 batons, and they don't need them all at once. And so we're doing, over 3 years, basically, we're gonna provide them with all the batons they want. And so we get $5,000, $4,999 for 3 years. So close enough. I'll make up the difference. Okay. Yeah. For 3 years. Nice deal. Anyway, thank you. This made it all possible because they want these all to be, look identical and just. Like anyone who's turned for more than a week knows, to make one of anything is not really that tough, but to make 2 or 3 or 4 or 330 of them identical is a different story. CNC is perfect for that. And this is great. Thanks again.
Okay, look around. You guys made it through the whole night tonight. So good job. I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate everybody participating in the show and tell and challenge table. Next month's challenge, 2 pieces of wood minimum, segmented project.
Don't they have to be glued together on the axis? Any which way you want. Any which way you want.
You've got free reign here, so hope to see everybody next month. Elizabeth, get home safely tonight. All right, tell Calvin we said hi. All right. Thank you all.